and that is the first trigger where you acquire new customer, and you can start a welcome series, you can start onboarding series, or they get included into a segment. You can also start a new automation based on a field value change, like status. Maybe it could be a free user at the beginning, and it could be paid user, it could be expired user after a while. You could greet them on specific dates. It could be either a purchase expiration day, a membership expiration, could be birthdays. Then a fourth step is a first trigger is when you send an email campaign. Let's say you have an announcement, a big announcement about an event, and you want to start automation that follows those people that either open or click on links within that email campaign. And a fifth trigger is when an automated series ends, you can start a new one. So you can then have a whole cycle of education on onboarding that is all interlinked. Then you define the title, you select senders, and what's really cool here that you can set particular days when you want these automations to be sent. If you are in a B2B business, so you probably will not email on Saturdays or Sundays, and you can set time preferences between which times you would like to send. And then you can choose either have one occurrence of that event, or they, as soon as they hit that trigger again, they can receive that automation again. And here the next one is just a visualization of that flow. Let's say that we send out, we get new registrations to an event, a conference. We welcome those people to our conference with the welcome email. And then 2 days later, we check if they have clicked links within that invitation or the welcome email. And if they did, then we can continue with the discount and the program, and we can offer them special bonus. But if they did not click in any links of those, we can send them a reminder 24 hours later. And if they don't click that, then we can disregard those clients. So that is a basic flow of automation that we can apply to, it could be event registrations, it could be new signups in your website, whatever that, starting trigger or sign up means to you. All right, so first step is meeting and getting to know each other. And there's different interesting tactics that you could use to engage the person at the first step, right? So the way I see how email marketing, how most of email marketing should be done is using the simple building a simple framework. Is one, you have to welcome your customers, and it could be either one email or it could be 3 emails. Then you have to educate them what it is about your product, your company that they did not know, that could interest them, that you could create a loyalty through education. And then only then you should try to convert, because there's no way, there's no reason of cheating people and giving them carrots for converting them to something that they're not really passionate about or don't see value in. And then you get that feedback, what it is that they liked or didn't like, and you improve and you keep iterating on that content of those emails, and you have this cycle. It's almost like a lean methodology applied to email marketing. Another pretty good trick is to use 5W checklist on emails that you create. So you ask yourself your questions: who's your audience and segment? What do I want them to do? And this is important, that message needs to be very clear. When are they in that customer journey, right? So is Bill just starting, are you just getting to know Bill, or you are having Anna for your close friend dinner? Where exactly is it happening? Where exactly they're reading? Not just the device, but where could they be at that time of the day? Because after 5, 6 o'clock, most of the people could be outside of their office. So it could be a loud place. Are they engaging with that email after hours, or are they engaging with that email on the weekend? So consider where they could be and why am I sending this email. So it's very important to ask yourself this question: what are you trying to get out of this? And I see a lot of times this 5W checklist changes email content just dramatically. From when you had a very complicated message, this 5W checklist allows you to simplify the content and have a much clearer message. So write these things down: who, what, when, where, and why. All right, let's look at a simple example of automation that welcomes customer. And this is just an example screenshot from Mailigen's automation dashboard. So you have a first trigger is subscribe to a newsletter list, and all you have to do, you said immediately send welcome to Harry's. So this is the most basic automation. We know it as autoresponders, and they've been live for tens of years. So a lot of companies still don't do it. I see a lot of companies are collecting emails and just collect them in a list, syncing it with their email marketing tool once a month, once a week, just before they have something to say. The best thing to do is as soon as you acquire the new subscriber, you welcome them with a warm message, invite them to come and see your website, your product, whatever. Here's a little bit more advanced onboarding or welcome series that we see different companies are doing. So this one is from Fab, and it's a first welcome email when you sign up to Fab. One day or the same day, on the first day, they send a really colorful welcome email. The next, in 3 days, what they do, they ask you to update the preferences because they say that we care about what you have, what you want to hear from us, and we don't want to spam you. We don't want to, put your inbox full with unnecessary information. So on the day 3, you can just simply ask what it is that you would like to hear from us. And this is another type of content. You don't have to come up with crazy ideas what to tell him. Ask him what it is that he wants to hear from you. Get some feedback. A third is, let's say, in a day 6, it's an amazing example from Zappos. It's an older example, but it's very effective. When you already have invited and welcomed and you've gotten some feedback from them and they have engaged with your company or product, you ask people to share and go to visit your social media sites and just become a follower of, and you expand your network in that way. So again, there's not much that you're saying here. You're just inviting people to come and join you on other sources. Another one is inviting friends and sharing that message, right? So if they did like the first 3 emails, if they did like the first experience with your company, what you have to do is just tell them to invite them to share that information with friends, and then you can give them some kind of benefit or credit or something. So that's a day 7. And then on day 14, you are sharing some additional ways for them to connect with you, in this case, a mobile application. So if you see through this whole flow, we're not really giving them anything about the company, about the products. We're just engaging with them in different creative ways to keep them engaged and loyal and remind them of who they are to the moment when we have something important to say, something important to sell. This is a good starting introduction series. Another interesting way of gathering feedback, if you remember at the beginning I showed, we first welcome, then educate, then convert, and then we gather the feedback. And this is a thing that I see a lot of companies are missing out, is you're guessing what your customer wants and needs. And there's 2 examples of plain text and templated email. I think the one on the right is quite effective, green and red, and just saying that your feedback is very valuable, so we can improve our future communication or products, because the person has been already warmed up and you haven't really tried to sell them right away, but you have welcomed them properly. Getting feedback will be easy, and it will be very, very, very valuable if you apply it to your next email campaigns or to your products or services. So there are 2 ways to consider. I've seen a lot better conversions on the plain text email in past, because I think most of us have been exposed to a lot of flashy images and colorful content that we start ignoring it in a way, except if you have that big bold red letter headline, as in this example, saying clearly what it is that you want from them. Right, but you can try both, and I highly recommend trying out the plain text version, because I've seen it work better. Another interesting way of engaging and welcoming, or engaging with prospects or customers is a great example from Envision app. And I remember I signed up for their blog, 2 years before I started using the product, and the only reason why was because they did not talk about themselves, they talk about their customers. And this is amazing strategy. If there are people using your product and they're happy, that's what better credibility there could be than this. So if you can share, I call them not case studies, but success stories. If you can share success stories of your customers using your product, engaging with them, or not even using your product, but just talk about your customers, about what businesses they I started using Envision app, and I still do.
Janis, I think we lost you for a minute there. If you want to just go, it was maybe about 30 seconds. If you want to just go back to what you were saying.
All right. So I was saying about Envision app, and when I started using it was because they talked about their customers, not about themselves. Right? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. That's good. Thank you.
All right, good. All right. So another important thing what we need to consider when we send emails is, and emails that deliver the results, is one clear message is to increase the clicks. We have two examples of pretty much the same approach, or the same content. The one on the left is asking people to sign up to a conference, to a seminar, and the one on the right does the same thing. The one on the left doesn't have a clear call to action, a clear message at the top of that email. And if we see it a full version here extended, there are too many different calls to action. And on the right, one clear message, one clear call to action, what it is that you want me to do, and in this case, get register for an event. So always consider what it is that you want to say. What is that one thing that the person, or what you want that person to do? You can send rather 2 or 3 emails to different segments, different groups, instead of just sending one long email. All right, so keeping it hot and showing that you care. So this is when you had that first introduction, you did welcome the people, and probably they already engaged with you, already have your first conversions or first sales or some kind of closer interactions. What it really is important. So you get that, you ask for a feedback about his first experience. So you can ask for a request, you can request for a review, and you can engage, you can boost your engagement in that way. And this is a very popular, a good example for Amazon. But on the right, we see how it's actually done and how it's programmed. So in the first trigger, so what we're doing, we are selecting a status that changes to a field that changes to purchase. So we see that he has purchased, he's done his first purchase. We can use a date, we can use a field status to trigger a series where 14 days later, after he has done the purchase, in this case, he ordered a book. So 14 days later, he should have received it and should have read it. So we can ask him for a review. And if he clicks and leaves that review, we can say, thank you for the review. And if he didn't click and didn't engage with that initial email, we can simply remind him, because a review that is left on your product or feedback that is given to you creates more engagement on that website. It creates more content on the website that is of social proof for the next visitors that want to buy a product that you sell. Another good example of loyalty check with NPS score, and this is you can apply different criteria to identify who is a loyal customer or who is disloyal and disengaged customer, and you can send them a simple NPS score survey, which is a Net Promoter Score survey. So you ask them one simple question: would you recommend this product or service to your friend or colleague? And if they click, if the If they do engage with it, then you can give them a bonus. If they don't, you just close that flow and don't send them anything anymore. But this is a good example of working with the loyalty. We use that. We send. I think we work with paid customers with our loyal clients. When 2 weeks after they become clients, we use the same kind of NPS score that we send out, and we get very good engagement. And after getting that first click or 8s or 9s or 10s or whatever, you can serve them a landing page with a follow-up question, what it really is that they like or dislike about your product. All right, so when you have engaged with them, you welcome them, and you have gotten the loyalty and feedback, what's important, you never forget your friends and clients. And in this case, what you need to do is try to reactivate and re-engage those clients that have gone inactive. And we see that around 50% of email database goes inactive within first 6 months of that signing up. What you can do, you can set up a flow which is triggered on the field value of inactive, and you can use your own criteria saying login date. He hasn't logged in for 3 months. He hasn't opened your emails for 5 months or 3 months. So as soon as that field value changes to inactive, you can send them an email, come back. In this case, this is a good example where you give them benefits, where you tell them why did they sign up at the first place, what is the value of them staying on that list, and you can ask them why. You can ask them, do you want to still receive emails from us or no? Give them that value or benefits that we see here, but you can then use that as a all triggered automation on top of your existing database. So you don't have to use these send campaign-like of reactivation campaigns, but you set up automation. And if they do click, then if they don't click, then you can send a second reminder after a couple days saying, are you still alive? And we see pretty good engagement on that, better engagement on that, are you still alive, kind of very bold call to action. But if they did click, then they have been reactivated and you don't need to do anything with them. So what's important is that, in a couple short years, 85% of our relationships, or people expect that they were going to have without talking to any human. There will be more chats, more bots, and definitely more automated emails. So it's important that we think about automation not as a replacement of people, but a way to establish relationship that can then be taken over by a real human when that relationship is hot enough. And email automation can help us to maintain and create that loyal relationship. So what's important to understand, we always have to improve, and continuous improvement in email marketing is, again, something that's often forgotten, because we come back to email marketing when we have something to say or we think we want to sell something. When we set up automation, that's the wrong thing to do. We cannot set it and forget it. So we set up these reactivation, we set up these welcomes, we set up those loyalty and feedback loops. So we have to review the results all the time. And when we review the results, there are three metrics to measure, and I think that are the most important. One is opens, clicks, and unsubscribes. So I have a couple ideas how to improve each of them if you see bad results. So, and the first one is an opens. A quick trick is to change the subject line and or sender name of the same email. If you think that email content is great, but you see low open rates, that means that the first subject line or the sender, they did not recognize the sender name. And often I see that if you send it from a personal, like a person, from a Rachel, that they don't know who the Rachel is. So if you say Rachel from XYZ company, then they can already recognize who the company is, and they probably think, okay, Rachel works for this company, like Rachel from Mailigen. So you know that's, email comes from Mailigen. And subject line, you can do A/B testing, but for that you need big enough database. And for smaller databases, what you can do, so if you see low open rates, you do a segment on those that did not open after a couple of days. Usually you see 95% opens happen within the first 2 days. So 2 days after, you can create a segment that has not opened your initial email, change the subject line to something a little bit more provocative, and send it again. We call this a email like open reach, when you calculate not a single email open rate, but a rate of opens over multiple emails. It could be over a period of week or a month, or open rate over 3, 4, 5 email campaigns. That shows you actually the actual number of unique email opens. So changing the subject line and the sender name and resending to those that did not open will definitely get you another 10% of 20% of opens on top of what you had. So that's a good strategy. Another, on talking about clicks. Oh man, this is a big one. I read a lot of campaigns. We have this very awesome TV screen dashboard in the office where I see all the emails that go out from our customers, and I have a big smile looking at most of them. Some are great and some are from the book of bad examples. And often when I read that email, I'm asking myself what it is that you wanted me to see, what it is that you wanted me to do with that information that I received. Right? So always tell one thing and tell it well. So ask yourself what it is that I want to tell them, what it is that I want them to do, either inform client or download an ebook or give a feedback. Just be very specific and very clear and have that call to action. Don't tell them and simply tell them, expect that they're going to come back to you. You should give them a command of do something, reply to me, hit this button, download, do something. You have to tell that subscriber what he needs to do. All right. Another one with clicks that I already touched on. So include that call to action, and it could be anything. It could be watching a video, but in a contest is amazing. If you have a free giveaway and just participating in the contest, just either building a bigger database or seeing who is active, building loyalty, contests are great. Joining webinars, education, writing review or buying, whatever it is, have that call to action, a clear call to action to increase your clicks. Another one on unsubscribes, a good example is when you are irrelevant. If you see a lot of unsubscribes from your email campaigns, there could be a couple things. You're talking about yourself too much. That's a biggie. You're not considering what are the interests of Bill and Anna, so the people will unsubscribe. Either you send too often and you are not personal enough. And I think writing emails from a person, not from a brand, or a person, not from a company, is also an important piece. It could be that they don't know who that Rachel is, but writing an email from Rachel, or Rachel writing that email to a customer instead of company XYZ. I hate those kind of emails when I receive them, and who the hell wrote that? So writing, even adding a Rachel and having that, email at the bottom creates that personality, creates that trust. So that's something you should always include and consider. All right, so one thing when we talk about automation is you need to think logical. And It might seem difficult at first, and this is actual flow of our own onboarding series, where we check when you sign up for our and this is all built on Mailigen's automation module. What you can do, I showed you a couple examples, a very simple one. But what we do when you sign up, we check if you have created email campaign, if you have imported a customer subscriber list. And if yes, then we send you a first introduction email. And then if we see that you have created an email campaign already, then we move to a different flow where we send information targeted towards the second key conversion activity, which is importing contacts. And then we continue sending until you do import your contacts. And then we check, have you actually logged in and done anything? So this kind of flow, it looks complicated, it's just visually displayed like that, but the idea is that you have to think logical, and often it's easier to create a single campaign only when you feel like you have something to say. But automation is something, it's an employee, 24/7, 365 employee for you that does stuff for you while you sleep. So coming up with idea every month and having that campaign every month, or doing even worst case, doing a campaign every 6 months is a lot worse than just setting up automation that sends an automated follow-up email saying, customer, how are you doing every month. That's a lot better than just doing one sales campaign every 6 months. This kind of flow, again, it does seem a little complex. So we have something in stock, and that's the secret sauce, which is the email workflow blueprints. And I think there are 3 blueprints or 3 workflows that every company should have, and that's the welcome email series, that is the education and reactivation. And they're very simple. You have the first starting trigger when you sign up, and then you have the first welcome email, then you introduce them to some kind of education resource, then you introduce them to ask them to engage with your customer service or sales. When they have completed that, you can do an education series, education course. It could be on a particular product, on a particular service. And then the last one is, it's an easy one to set up, is now you have emailed them, you have either the automation has been working, or you have been sending email campaigns, but they have not engaged with your emails. So you have a lot more aggressive, challenging or provocative subject line based reactivation flow, where you listen to them clicking or not clicking, and then you send them something different to follow up. All right, so I think every company should have them, and this is the secret sauce. And to make those things easier, this is something that we can simply offer to you in a very simple format. You can apply to your business anytime. So Mailigen's email marketing automation, and why it's important, because it's scalable for any size of the business. What it does, it looks at, you can build it based on your customer journey steps, preferences and behaviors, and it's very easy to build. I think that is the key to actually having something very complex set up that should be easy to build and maintain. So only people that like and love you will keep buying what you have to offer time and time again. And the way to maintain that love and likeness is by keeping engaged, keeping the customers engaged. And you can do that not with single email shots every month or every 6 months, but having an automation that follows their life cycle. All right, quick recap on 5W checklist that you should use for either a single shot email campaign, but in this case for automation, always consider who, what, when, and where, and most important, why are you sending them? And this why is also depends on where they are in the customer cycle. So what you need to look at when some of the behavioral data is, have they purchased or not? Have they logged in or not? What it is that you're trying to achieve with that email automation flow. And then when you have asked those 5 W's, then questions, then you start creating that email content, that email series, that flow, the workflow, and then it's going to be successful. I guarantee that if you follow this formula. All right. I did not say anything about a bonus in the beginning, but I have a bonus for you. So we have 25% discount for our webinar attendees for our annual plans or any kind of plans of email marketing professional Mailigen plan. But the bonus number 2, and you can get this at mailigen.com/webinar, and you will see everything that you need in the landing page. But another thing, if you go to the landing page and then you email us to success@mailigen.com that you would like to get these blueprints, we can send you a simple file that you can apply to your existing business without being a customer of Mailigen. Or if you are perfect, or if you want to be, let's take a look at that. But these blueprints are available to you. All right, guys. I hope this was valuable. I enjoyed, sharing these ideas, and let me know if you have some questions. I'm happy to answer. I'm looking at some questions that I see in the list, and can I watch this webinar later? Kate, how is it? Will the webinar be available?
Yes, we are going to be sending out a replay video of the webinar within 24 hours, and then we will also make sure to include a PDF of the slides so that people can reference that as well.
All right, sounds good. I see that Brenda has been very active, and her email, she left an email. We will send you the presentation, and then also the blueprints. And can you give the bonus link again? Okay, let me go back to that. Oh, 1 second. So I have to scroll back. So it's to do. Oh, my computer is playing up. 1 second. All right, so the bonus link, mailigen.com/webinar. And that's where you can get an account. But if you would like the blueprints, then send us an email to success@mailigen.com, and then we can give you the blueprints.
All right, that's great. And we can also include, you said it's success@mailigen.com, right? Just to confirm that, we'll send that info in the replay email as well.
Yes, correct. So that's it. And I'm happy to answer any other questions, guys. You can, drop them in the question box about automation, about blueprints, about any reactivation campaigns. Kate, maybe you have some questions regarding the topic?
I think for the most part, everything was covered very concisely. It seems like the feedback from everybody was really good. I think that the biggest thing I loved in the beginning, I think being really clear about the different types of people that you're, the avatars for the different people on your list, and how to make sure that everything is really geared towards each individual person.
Exactly. Often when we create content, we think about ourselves, about who we are. Where we have to put ourselves in our customer shoes, and often you will realize that either they're just passing by. It really depends on the business, but either they're just passing by and they have their own thoughts and needs, and you're just either an expression product, either they're wearing something or enjoying some kind of experience, or you're a tool for them to achieve the goals that they have set, or they're getting the job done that they have set to do, right? So
absolutely,
you have to always consider that. All right, guys.
It looks like we do actually have another question that came in. So we have a question about whether you have advice for reaching out to new prospects to get them to sign up.
Yeah, I think when you have some kind of traffic to a website, one thing you cannot disregard is having very obvious, clear call to action or sign up forms. right? So that is, I don't recommend using email or email marketing for cold outreach, because you can damage your reputation of as a brand, as a company, right? But when you're reaching out to new prospects, maybe the question was about already people that have signed up, or no, that to get them signed up. There's a I know company Sumo. It's a plugin that can be easily applied to a website. Has different ways of signing up, web sign up forms, and the most effective ones that we use ourselves as well is exit intent pop-up, which I see a lot of companies using. They're very effective. They could convert up to 3, 4, 5% of your website traffic that you usually would lose if you don't have any kind of valuable content conversion, a mechanism. So web sign up form offering value. Remember, don't just ask them to sign up to a newsletter, because they don't know what valuable news are you going to share or what's in it for them. So if you can create an exit pop-up, like an exit intent pop-up, or simply another effective way is a carpet like sign up form. As soon as you land on a website, the first screen will be a sign up form, but people can just simply scroll down and it just disappears. That has proven and shown to be very effective, and offer them something of value to get them signed up. Either it's some kind of PDF document that talks about a topic, not a product, it doesn't talk about your product or service, but it talks about topic that you represent. It could be either 10 tips on buying car, or it could be choosing the right ring for your wedding, whatever it is, a checklist, document, or some kind of valuable content. That has proven to be the most effective strategy by far, and I highly recommend doing that.
That's great. So it sounds like the key thing is definitely to provide something that's going to actually show them value. So trying not to have it be a promotion automatically or a product sales thing, but something that offers them valuable content or something that they're going to be able to learn from.
Correct. I see a lot of e-commerce websites, offering like 10% discounts, or even $5 or $10 or free shipping, and those kind of, for Anna, somebody who is very spontaneous, that works, but that works for a short term. You kind of lure them in, you cheat them in to give you that email, but later on they disengage and they're not really a loyal customer later on. But giving them something of value and then welcoming them properly and educating about things related to your industry or business, that creates a loyalty for you to then drive recurring revenue and sales with those people.
That makes sense. Well, I think that's it for our questions, but this was I definitely learned a lot and some really valuable information. So we want to thank you so much, Janis, for joining us and for providing all of this.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I think I cut you off.
No, you're good.
So yeah, with that, everybody, thank you for joining us. We will definitely be sending out that replay video of the webinar along with the slides so that you can access this valuable information and have information again about how to take advantage of that great offer as well.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for joining the webinar, and stay awesome.
All right. Take care.